Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're building a blueprint for making intelligent automation a massive success. We're going to skip past the buzzwords and get right to building a solid, strategic framework that can help literally any organization manage and, more importantly, scale its automation efforts. So, let's get into it.
Look, we all know automation is powerful. It has incredible potential. But here's the thing. Just buying the tech, that's maybe half the battle. The real challenge is managing the transformation that comes with it. We're talking new ways of working, new teams, new roles. So how do you actually get it right? That's the big question we're going to unpack today.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First up, we'll talk about who needs to be leading the charge. Then, we're going to peek inside the engine room, the automation factory where all the magic happens. And finally, we'll uncover 4 essential keys to taking that success and scaling it up across the entire organization.
Let's start where you have to start, with the foundation. Because trust me, without rock-solid leadership and a clear governance structure, even the most exciting automation program is probably going to stumble. This part right here is absolutely non-negotiable. And this foundation, it's really built on 3 critical pillars. You've got to have unwavering support from your executives, a vision that stretches across the whole enterprise, and a governance structure that everybody gets. Let's see how these all click together.
First, executive support. And I mean, this is not just a nice to have, it's everything. Intelligent automation often means you have to redesign core business processes, right? Well, those kinds of big changes need serious muscle behind them, from the very top. This means your senior leaders have to be on the same page about the goals, the business case, and the road ahead.
Second, you have to think big, right from the beginning. If you limit your program to just a couple of small pilot projects, you're kind of sending the wrong message. An enterprise-wide scope, on the other hand, sends a really powerful signal that this is a major strategic investment. And it's practical, too. It lets you maximize your economies of scale and make a much bigger splash from day one.
And that third piece of the foundation is governance. Now, this usually has 2 arms. You've got a leadership committee, think executives and department heads, who champion the program and keep an eye on its progress. And then they oversee the second group, the Center of Excellence, or COE. The COE is your engine room, the team that handles the day-to-day work of getting things done.
So, we've got the leadership providing that high-level oversight. Now let's talk about the team they're overseeing. That Center of Excellence we just mentioned? A great way to think of it is as your company's very own internal factory, just cranking out intelligent automation solutions. It's the engine that powers this entire thing.
A COE is basically where you bring together all the right people, the best processes, and the right technology all under one roof. And what this does is create a unified, consistent way of doing automation across the entire organization so you don't have different departments all trying to reinvent the wheel.
And the benefits of doing this are huge. You get economies of scale, for one. You can build reusable automation components, which saves a massive amount of time later on. You're also creating a central hub for all that institutional knowledge. And of course, you get better prices when you buy software and tools as a group. It just makes sense.
But a COE's job is so much more than just building bots. As it gets more mature, it starts developing shared policies and best practices for everyone. It becomes an innovation hub, always looking for the next cool technology. And maybe most important of all, it trains and equips your own teams with the skills they're going to need for the future.
So, who's actually in this factory? Well, every COE is a little different, but you're almost always going to find core roles like these. You'll have a sponsor, a developer, an analyst. The key thing here isn't the specific job titles, but making sure the structure is tailor-made to fit the unique DNA of your organization.
Okay, so you've built a strong foundation, and you've got your factory engine humming along. Now for the fun part. How do you hit the accelerator? We're going to look at 4 key factors that are absolutely critical for taking your program from a solid start to long-term, scaled-up success.
The first key is something really simple but incredibly powerful. It's all about embracing a learning mindset, right from the very beginning.
Look, it's so easy to get discouraged if your first few projects aren't these massive home run wins. But that's totally missing the point. Those early projects, they are priceless learning opportunities. They let your COE learn the ropes. They create real value for stakeholders, and they show the entire organization the art of the possible.
All right, our second key tackles a really fascinating, ongoing debate. Do you fix your broken processes before you automate them, or do you just dive right in?
There's a real split among the experts on this one. One camp says you should always fix a messy process before you try to automate it.
But the other side argues that you can get value right away by automating those imperfect processes and then just improve them over time. You know what? Neither one is wrong. The best approach really just depends on what fits your company's culture.
Okay, number 3. And listen up, because this success factor is one that trips up so many programs, and it's a big one. It is absolutely critical to figure out your IT requirements early.
Seriously, I can't even tell you how many projects get completely bogged down by delays in getting servers, or waiting on security approvals, or just getting system access. Miscommunication with IT is a total program killer. So the message here is simple and it's blunt. Involve your IT team as early as humanly possible, period.
And that brings us to our fourth and final key to scaling. And you could argue this is the fuel for the entire engine we've been talking about: managing your data.
Data really is the fuel that makes intelligent automation go. But let's be honest, getting a handle on that data is a huge challenge for most companies. To succeed at scale, you absolutely have to set up universal policies for data quality, security, and compliance. It's a foundational requirement you just can't skip. So when you put it all together, what's the ultimate takeaway? A successful intelligent automation program isn't just about having the right checklists or the perfect framework. It's about combining that structure with a deep appreciation for the unique, nuanced culture of your organization. If you can get that combination right, you will dramatically boost your odds of success. We've laid it all out: the blueprint for leadership, for your automation factory, and for scaling up. The plan is right here. So the only question left is your organization ready to start building? Thanks for watching The Explainer.